Hello, YouTube, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. I have two articles for you in this episode this morning. Both the URLs are in the description of the video for your convenience.
Hello.
And we got the audio working, so we'll jump right into them here. The first one is off of ABC. Easy for me to say, right? Oh my goodness.
Today after a day
we
without
got something trying to play here. We've got to hush her up.
Fallout today after a
I said,
day.
be quiet. She doesn't listen well. Okay, try this again. ABC2 News says company fires 18 employees after they participated in a day without immigrants. Many of you probably heard about the protest that they had a few days ago called a Day Without Immigrants that happened across the nation. Well, this was in Nashville, Tennessee, and here's how the article reads. It says a total of 18 people were fired from Tennessee business after joining the nationwide protest called a Day Without Immigrants. The 18 employees at Bradley Coatings Incorporated in Nolensville, Tennessee, told their supervisor on Wednesday they would be taking part in the nationwide movement. Then on Thursday, they were told they no longer had jobs. We are the team leaders directly under the supervisors, and they informed us last night that we could not go back to work, and the boss said we were fired, one employee said. The employee asked to remain anonymous, but had this message to his former boss. I would tell him he was unfair after working for them for so many years, giving him our best. They could not understand that it was just one day. We were going to make up that day on Sunday, but they didn't understand that, and it was not the best way. They didn't give us an opportunity and just told us we were fired, he said. Tennessee is an employment at will state, which basically means an employer can end your employment at any time without any reason or cause. Of course, there are a lot of different stipulations, civil rights issues that could stop them from doing that, Department of Labor and Workforce Development spokesman said. His name's Chris Cannon. Bradley Coatings Incorporated attorney released the following statement. Bradley Coatings Incorporated, or BCI, is a family-owned, Nashville-based business that provides commercial painting services to its clients on a very demanding schedule. Established in 1986, BCI has always celebrated diversity and supported the immigrant community. This past Wednesday night, certain employees of BCI informed their leadership that they would not be at work the following day because of the time-sensitive nature of the jobs these employees were assigned to. All employees were told they would need to show up for work, terminated. On Thursday, the majority of BCI's employees fulfilled their obligation to our clients, but 18 employees did not. Regretfully, and consistent with our prior communication to all its employees, BCI had no choice but to terminate these individuals. The reason these employees missed work to engage in peaceful demonstrations had nothing to do with BCI's decision to terminate them. BCI regrets this situation with its clients to complete work on a schedule set by the client's general contractor. BCI will review its procedures in an effort to avoid similar issues in the future and will continue to provide timely services to its clients, support the Nashville immigrant community. Robert Peel, company attorney. I would interject here that if you're working for a company for any period of time, a savvy employee, you know what your time restraints are to getting jobs out in order to support your employer who provides you with a paycheck for the same. And if you decide that you're not going to show up for work for something that is a non-emergency issue, expect to be fired. I don't know how much plainer it can be to people than that. You don't just pick and choose what days you're going to work unless you work for yourself. Wow. The next article I have here is off of Independent Sentinel, and it says, it has begun. Tillerson fires most of the 7th floor. Americans were stunned to learn of the State Department rogue shadow government, which operated in secret from the 7th floor. They were behind the corrupt handling of the Clinton documents. CBS News announced that Rex Tillerson The new Secretary of State fired most of the seventh floor policymakers who so famously called themselves the shadow government. Among the firings were staffers in the offices of the Deputy Secretary of State for Management and Resources, as well as counselors, according to CBS News. Policy will be controlled by the White House, not professional diplomats, CBS stated. CBS bemoans the loss of the shadow government's policymaking expertise. In October of last year, a New York Post story reported that the coterie of State Department officials who called themselves the shadow government controlled the release of Clinton emails. Undersecretary Patrick Kennedy even offered the FBI quid pro quo for challenging the classification of the Clinton emails. Kennedy asked assistance in altering emails classification in exchange for quid pro quo, an FBI summary says. In exchange for making the email unclassified, state would reciprocate by allowing the FBI to place more agents in countries where they were presently forbidden. That's a promise to help alter U.S. policy in order to make it seem like Clintons hadn't casually endangered national security, and it gets worse. Former Deputy Assistant Secretary Raymond Maxwell told the House Select Committee on Benghazi that Hillary Clinton confidants were part of an operation to separate damaging documents before they were turned over to the Accountability Review Board investigating security lapses surrounding the September 11, 2012 terrorist attack on the U.S. mission in Benghazi, Libya, Cheryl Atkinson reported. Maxwell says the operation was a weekend document session that was held in the basement of the State Department's Foggy Bottom headquarters in a room underneath the joggers entrance. She told me, Ray, we are to go through these attacks and pull out anything that might put anybody in the Near Eastern Affairs front office or the 7th floor in a bad light, says Maxwell. He says 7th floor was State Department shorthand for then Secretary of State Clinton and her principal advisors. I asked her, but isn't that unethical? And she responded, Ray, those are our orders. Two other high-ranking State Department officials and confidants of Clinton's stayed for a brief time. Representative Jason Chavez, Republican of Utah, named the two Hillary Clinton confidants who allegedly were present. One was Cheryl Mills, Clinton's chief of staff and former White House counsel, who defended President Bill Clinton during the impeachment trial. The other was Chavez, or try this and again, the other, Chavez said, was Deputy Chief of Staff Jake Sullivan, who previously worked on Hillary Clinton's then and Barack Obama's presidential campaigns. On page 56 of the FBI vault, there is a reference to the 7th floor, and it's a redacted document that's shown here in this article. It says there was a peaceful group of high-ranking state officials that some referred to as the 7th floor group or the shadow government. This group met every Wednesday afternoon to discuss the Freedom of Information Act process, congressional records, and everything Clinton related to Freedom of Information Act congressional inquiries. The known regular attendees include Jonathan Feiner, Chief of Staff Secretary of State John Kerry, Jennifer Stout, Deputy Chief of Staff Heather Higginbottom, Deputy Secretary of State for Management and Resources Kennedy, Julia Fryfield, Assistant Secretary of Legislative Affairs, and then it's redacted. It says Office for the Legal Advisor, and then redacted Office for the Legal Advisor overseeing states, and then the rest is redacted. So there's that article. Can't make this stuff up. If you like what I'm doing here, give it a thumbs up, share it on your social media so everybody gets to hear the news. And don't forget to subscribe. That way you'll stay informed.